Rookie minicamp has officially begun for the Philadelphia Eagles, and a couple players are already shaping up to be absolute steals. And that includes defensive tackle Ty Robinson, who looked like a beast at practice, and the Eagles' final selection of the draft in an exciting edge rusher, and he might just be the biggest gem of all. So in this video, I'll break that down, plus Birds' first-round rookie Jihaad Campbell wasn't practicing, but that's no reason to worry, and the newest Philly dog seems ready to make his mark as well. So I'm going to talk about all that and more, starting right now. The Birds are officially back in action, as recently the Super Bowl champions, along with the new additions, reported to the NovaCare complex for the start of Philly's offseason workout program, and we've already got some little behind-the-scenes looks of some of the guys getting work in, including Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, and new Eagles running back A.J. Dillon rocking the number 29. And that's not even mentioning that today is also the start of Eagles rookie minicamp, where we got our first look at the Birds' latest additions, along with a bunch of other stuff to go over. So don't worry, we'll have plenty more on that later, but first, we gotta talk about the Eagles that are showing up to the offseason workout program with a little bit of extra money in their pocket. And that starts with none other than center Jurgens, who obviously just signed a massive 4-year, $68 million contract extension that's going to keep him in Philadelphia through the 2029 NFL season. And the reason I bring that up is because the presumed details of that contract just came out, and it is exactly what you would expect from a Howie Roseman deal, in the sense that if it's handled correctly, it is an absolute bargain for the Birds. As according to SpotTrack, the deal, of course, has 4 void years tacked onto the end of it, which helps spread out the cap hits pretty good, so much so to the point where over the next 3 years, the cap hits are all under $10 million, and then even in the last year, which is in 2029, the cap hit's only $15.7 million, and by that point, the NFL salary cap will have shot through the roof, so that's not nearly as much as it sounds like. Plus, I'm sure at that point, the Eagles will have already done some sort of restructure or extension so that those void years don't catch up to them, and they'll just keep kicking the can down the road as they always do. So overall, I can't say I'm surprised because, this is what Howie Roseman and the Eagles always do. They've done it for years, but still, in my opinion, this is a great deal. And then moving on, obviously the Eagle that came into some future money most recently is defensive tackle Jordan Davis, as the Birds just picked up his 5th-year option of $12.9 million for the 2026 season on Wednesday. And as I said in my last video, I think this is a great move just because JD's value to this team, both on and off the field, I think is underrated. So for the Eagles to keep him here for a bit longer and give him even more of a chance to earn a contract extension, I think is only a positive. And JD himself seems pretty happy about it too, as he took to Instagram after the Eagles picked up his option, where he thanked God, the organization, and others, while also saying, quote, "There's no place I'd rather be. I strive to be better than I was the day before." So that certainly sounds like somebody who's fired up to stick around and is hungry to get even better. And as I alluded to in my last video, I still think JD has plenty of room to grow and can play an even bigger role. That said, the premier defensive tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles is obviously Jalen Carter, and he's set to earn the biggest extension of all next offseason, probably around $40 million plus per season. And then, of course, you also got extensions for guys like Nolan Smith, possibly Reed Blankenship, Quinyon Mitchell, and Cooper DeJean over the next several years, plus whoever ends up earning an extension from the draft class this year. I mean, it truly is unreal just how many gems the Birds have got from the draft in recent years, and it's led a lot of people to ask the same question. Just how do the Eagles keep getting away with this? Well, NFL insider Field Yates has a pretty interesting take on that.
It's like, how do the Eagles keep getting away with this? And I really believe the truth of it is this. It's not getting away with anything. It's that Philadelphia a long time ago made a decision that they were consistently going to be comfortable drafting for value and not for need. Now, does that mean that you're always going to be a dominant team? No, because it may be that you've got some real roster holes. But if you always draft for value and you worry a lot less about need, you're going to end up stockpiling a lot of good players. And ultimately, no matter how smart the coach or the GM are or not, you got to have dudes as well. And the Eagles have consistently had dudes, and it didn't stop this past weekend. I love the Campbell pick, some of the guys they got on day 3. Again, less sexy, but Smael Mondon, the linebacker from Georgia, if you saw him, super impressive as well. Drew Kendall, son of Pete Kendall, longtime NFL center in the 5th round. Not that they needed, they just made their center one of the highest paid ever. And it's we'll still draft the second best one in the entire class in the 5th round because it's a good value for us. That's just what they do.
There is no question that the Birds have prioritized getting the best available player rather than just drafting for need in recent years, and to their credit, it's definitely paid off. And this year, it's no different. I mean, I love what they did in this draft and definitely think they got multiple steals, whether it was any one of their first 3 picks in Jihaad Campbell, Andrew Mukuba, and Ty Robinson, or what I think could possibly wind up being the biggest steal of them all, and that's their last pick at 209th overall in edge rusher Antwaun Powell-Ryland. APR falling all the way down to the 6th round where the Birds got him just honestly doesn't make too much sense to me. I mean, sure, I guess he's a tiny bit undersized at 6'3", 251 pounds, and his real deficiency is definitely his arm length, as he's in just the 2nd percentile among edge rushers in that area, so don't get me wrong, that could definitely make things challenging when going up against huge offensive tackles in the NFL with long arms, and in the run game, there also could be some concerns, but that said, everything else about APR is overwhelmingly positive. I mean, let's just start off with his production at Virginia Tech, as he put up 16 sacks and 3 forced fumbles last year, along with 9.5 sacks the year prior, making that 25.5 sacks over the past 2 seasons, good for the best in the BCS in that time span. I mean, it's clear just looking at those stats and also watching him play that he is a natural pass rusher. I mean, the guy just has so many moves in his tool bag, including this awesome spin move that you've probably seen several times during this highlight reel. He also uses his hands well, he's got good footwork, he's got a great motor, and he's also a fantastic athlete, putting up an RAS score of 9.18. And based on some comments he made in his introductory press conference on Friday, it sounds like APR has the right mentality too.
I love the game. It's not really... as long as I get a shot, that's all I need. I'm not really worried about what it is that, how big my arms are or, how big I am. I'm a ball player. You cut on the tape, you're going to see it. So, I'm just happy with the opportunity. As far as, pass rushing, he told me when I had first got there, he was like, don't ever waste a rep, no matter what. Not just pass rush, but, don't ever waste a rep. We were talking pass rush because, it's not many chances that you get to rush the passer. So, just making sure I keep that mentality that, I got to go at all times.
Based on that, to me, it just certainly sounds like Powell-Ryland is just hungry and ready to prove himself, and he's going to work hard to do it. So, I mean, just the more and more I watch of him and read about him, the more I question how this guy fell all the way down to the 6th round. So, I'm not saying he's going to come in right away and be some great player, but I do think if developed properly, APR has the chance to become a pretty good NFL player, just assuming he can overcome those physical limitations that he has. Speaking of APR though, he was one of 4 Eagles rookies to officially sign their contracts today, those being of course APR, Georgia linebacker Smael Mondon Jr., who signed a 4-year, $4.6 million deal, then you got Michigan offensive tackle Myles Hinton, and also Syracuse quarterback Kyle McCord. So, not crazy news because these rookie contracts obviously have to get signed at some point, but it's good to see a good chunk of them get done pretty early. And then on top of that, all the rookies' numbers have also been revealed as well, and there's some pretty decent ones in there, with Jihaad Campbell wearing 30, which, in my opinion, that's not great, but he did wear it early in college. And then you also got Andrew Mukuba wearing 24, Ty Robinson in 95, Mac McWilliams in 22, Smael Mondon Jr. in 42, Drew Kendall in 66, Kyle McCord in 19, Myles Hinton wearing 78, Cameron Williams in 73, and APR in 93. So, right off the bat, obviously, a lot of these numbers will likely change after training camp when some guys get cut. We see that every year, but there are a couple numbers that I am a pretty big fan of. Starting with Andrew Mukuba wearing 24, which honestly, I think that's a pretty perfect number, especially since there's a chance he might start, and 24 is just a good number. Then you got Ty Robinson wearing 95, which is pretty solid. Mac McWilliams wearing 22, which I think is a really good fit with Keely Ringo having switched to 7. Then APR actually got number 93, which especially for a 6th round guy, I think is a great number. And then 42 for Smael Mondon Jr. makes sense considering that he'll likely fill in a similar role that Oren Burks did last year, who also wore 42. And speaking of Mondon Jr., he was one of the Eagles' 8 draft picks that spoke to the media on Friday, and I thought he said a couple interesting things, including what it's been like just to reunite with some of his former Georgia teammates here in Philly. He also said Nakobe Dean was the first person that he called after he got drafted, and he also made it clear that he's ready to get to work and he's willing to do whatever it takes to help the team.
Do you enjoy playing special teams, and do you have a favorite unit to play on?
Yeah, for sure. Special teams like the way I got on the field at Georgia, and then I would have stayed on there. They would have kept me on there. So special teams is like, I feel like it's a lot of guys' intro, and then, so I kind of grew a big love for special teams at UGA. And then as far as like a favorite unit, I'd probably say the most fun I had while playing was kickoff, for sure.
There's no doubt that special teams is going to be the main area where Smael actually has a chance to make an impact this season, so for him to say that he loves playing it is absolutely awesome, and it makes me feel like he could be a really good special teams player for the Birds. And overall, Mondon Jr. is just another one of these guys who I think could wind up being somewhat of a steal for Philly, just because, he was really productive at Georgia, and he's got all the physical tools and athleticism to be a good player. I mean, look at this guy, like he's absolutely jacked. And moving on, another guy who I think could wind up being a steal is the Birds' 4th round pick in Ty Robinson. As like I talked about in my last video, the Vanilla Gorilla is an absolute beast with all the physical tools to do everything you would want him to do on the defensive line, whether that's rushing the passer, stopping the run, or playing multiple positions. And that's something that Robinson himself says he's completely comfortable doing.
Do you have a sense yet of how you'll be used in this defense? I know you have a lot of versatility.
Nope. First day, I'm just excited to learn everything I can. Obviously, I'm going to try and learn all the positions, but wherever they want me, I'll play.
Again, I think Ty Robinson is a fantastic addition to the Eagles defensive line, and I'm just really fired up to watch him and all the other Eagles rookies as we ramp up towards the 2025 season. Speaking of which, of course, today was the first day of Eagles rookie minicamp, and after the guys spoke to the media, we got our first official look of the Birds draft picks out there practicing in Eagles green. Unfortunately, though, we didn't get to see first-round pick Jihaad Campbell as he was not practicing, but he was at least standing with the off-ball linebackers during positional drills, so that in and of itself is kind of news, just considering that there were questions about what position Campbell would play, whether that's off-ball linebacker or edge rusher. Now, in my last video, I went through a couple reports saying that Campbell would in fact start out as an off-ball linebacker with the Eagles, and the fact that that's the group that he was standing with during practice only confirms that. And based on how he looked in college and the clear potential that he has, I think that Campbell's going to be fantastic in that role.
Let's watch the Eagles' newest first-round pick, Jihaad Campbell. This is 2023, when he wore number 30. And this is like what all linebackers got to be able to do. Just get on your horse, run, and go blow somebody up, all right? He can do that. Ran a 4.52 at the combine at 235 pounds. All right, you watch him right here. And watch him in zone coverage. Just react. Just react to the quarterback. All right, you're dropping it into the hook curl zone right here, and you get right in front of the throw. Right there, you take that one away from Will Rogers of Mississippi State. Okay? Then you do this. Like, here it is. Like, watch him right here. Just cover the tight end. All right, you're going to have to do this. Cover the tight end, get on him, get on that upfield shoulder, see the ball, and then make the play. All right? Backs and tight ends. In certain coverages, that's what he's going to have to be able to do. Now he moved to number 11 in 2024. Bigger and stronger and faster, and his reactions were just as good. Same thing. Like this play right here, bats the ball back and then back to the quarterback and then tackles the quarterback. Just instant reactions. All right, that's what you want to see from your linebackers. Just be able to read and react. All right, here he is. Now, watch the depth that he gets on this drop against Georgia. Carson Beck at quarterback. Like, you just see him like Michael Jordan, just hang time, get up in the air.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's no question in my mind that Jihaad Campbell is going to turn out to be a good player just as long as he can stay healthy. And as far as his current injury goes, it's really nothing to worry about. I mean, it was expected for him to be out of rookie minicamp considering that he just had this surgery after the combine, so don't worry, he's fine, and the question is really just going to be, will he be able to participate in OTAs and mandatory minicamp, because those are coming up as well. And even with Campbell not participating, we did get our first look at some of the other guys. I mean, it was nothing too crazy, because the guys aren't even in pads or doing really anything besides just drills, but we did get a couple interesting videos and photos, including this pic of Andrew Mukuba, Kyle McCord throwing the ball to some receivers, some undrafted free agents doing some pass-catching drills, center/guard Drew Kendall doing a pulling drill, and also defensive tackle Ty Robinson out there running through some drills as well. And man, am I excited about this guy, just because at 6'6", 310 pounds, this guy's an absolute freak in nature with great size and athleticism, and again, it was just awesome to see him out there practicing for the first time, and he looked pretty good. But now, rookie minicamp is of course going to continue on throughout this weekend, and then there's also going to be plenty more stuff happening in the weeks leading up to the start of OTA. So if you guys don't want to miss any Eagles coverage or Eagles news, I got it all here on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Again, that way you don't miss anything. And also, while you're at it, make sure you drop a like as well to show some support, because it really does help me out a ton. Let's see if we can get to 500 likes on this video. And also, leave a comment down below just regarding anything that I talked about in this video. What Eagles rookie are you most excited about? And also, if you want to watch another Eagles video, you can check this one out right here. And now with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.